My name is James O'Neill, born and raised in Northeast Arkansas. Moved over to Jonesboro at about 2006 to finish college and ended up sticking around. When we first came to Sanctuary, we were really looking for a church where we felt like we were needed, where we belonged, where we could really fit in with not only what the church believes, but what the church is all about. I was raised in very established churches. So when we first came to the very first service of Sanctuary, there was a lot of different emotions that we had. First one, it was awkward. I've never had church in a home before. We kind of knew what we were getting into because this isn't going to be a shout your the house down kind of service. We expected it to be a little more mellow, a little more down to earth, but also there was a closeness that I guess we really didn't expect. We not only were part of the church for the first little bit, we were the church. I think that one of our testimonies is that I was actually forced to do things that I would have never even considered or ever even had the opportunity to do. I was actually stretched spiritually because I had to change my way of thinking. I had to adjust how I approached teaching in the example of nursery or a Sunday school class. And I think it made me grow, as I couldn't do all the things that I'm comfortable with in my spiritual bubble that is Christianity in my life. My testimony would probably say that starting at Sanctuary when we were just a young, early church was I had to fit roles that I may not really fit. The first time I remember having a just fantastic service was in the building we were renting from another church, and I can remember something shifted. Something changed. And I remember distinctly feeling terrible for whoever had nursery that day. Our church is called Sanctuary. And I think it fits us more than just a name. So many names become just another title. But I feel like our church has become a sanctuary to many different people. People who have been hurt at other churches or been hurt in life. They've just been beat down, been dragged through the mud, and just don't feel like they fit anywhere. We have people from all different walks of life. I grew up in church, but I fit just as well as someone who's never been to church before. I really feel like our church is one of those churches that when you come to, you just feel home. You feel welcomed, and you feel you didn't just punch a clock, but you experienced what church is supposed to be like. I have the distinction of saying I showed up to the very first service. I also have the distinction that I can say I helped build our church. It was an amazing experience when we done church in a day. We had over 400 people show up to help build our church. I think I was one of the first people here that Friday morning. I showed up at 3 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't sleep. And I walked through this building. It was concrete and frames. And over the next few hours and the next day, Sanctuary, the building, came up. And this whole experience where all these people came together to build a church that 95% didn't even attend was simply amazing. I don't know if I could properly explain the camaraderie, the friendliness. And I've never been through anything like that before, where you had that many people dedicated to one common goal. And when we sat in our new building, I can remember looking back from the sound booth and looking toward the pulpit and just thinking, that's my church. One of my favorite things about Sanctuary, and my wife agrees with me on this, is our pastor. We love our pastor. before we even came to Sanctuary, I'd known Pastor O'Connell most of my life. I knew from camps that anytime that I talked to him, he was kind. And Pastor O'Connell never changed his spirit. That's one of the things that I really love about my church. I love my pastor. No matter the situation, no matter the past, no matter burned bridges or hurt feelings, most importantly, God still loves you. And so do we at Sanctuary Church. My name is James O'Neill, and this is my Sanctuary story.